is good! Ferris State wins the basketball game!
You got it! Game winner!
Rips the shot and it's a score for Ferris State! What a play right there by the Bulldogs!
And so those are the kind of the guys I really wanted to model my mentality after.
When it's bad weather, it kind of comes down to grit. I think our team has a lot of that.
It's like you lose a game, like it hurts so much.
Like we're very culture-based, and so that's what initially got me here.
You're listening to Behind the Bulldogs, brought to you by Ferris State Athletics.
It's Behind the Bulldogs, Season 4, Episode 32. And man, we got a good episode for you. My name's Joe Nagy, Brandon Worth sitting across from me in the stew. Man, we got a good episode. Big dog.
I mean, we do. Kamryn Shannon, Zach Koerner of men's and women's golf respectively joining us. And we had a great interview with them, as well as we'll chat about some golf. We'll chat about some softball, tennis, track, everything Ferris State sports.
A little bit of everything. And this is your one-stop shop for it. So that's really cool. And also, if you want a one-stop shop for your automobile, go to the Car Center, because if it's got some problems, they can get you up real good, real nice. Car Center, just north of Rogers Heights, South Big Rapids.
Joe, I have to admit something.
What was that?
We said like 2 weeks ago that we had the best segue that we've ever had.
Dude,
that was it. That one was
off the dome
so
too.
It.
That was off the dome too, if you can believe that. But we got some good stuff going on. We got to get to this whole Ferris State rundown as well. So we are going to start with golf. Men's and women's getting ready for regional play. I think it's going to be a solid one. All right, Monday on the 6th coming up is going to be for the women's. They're going to be in Indianapolis, and then the men are going to be in Edmond, Oklahoma for their regional as well.
Yeah, regionals is certainly going to be where it's at. We look forward to seeing. Men's, obviously, we talked earlier, beating Grand Valley in the medal match on Sunday to take home the team championship. Women's falling in the semifinals in revenge style against the Lakers, a really talented Laker team that go on and win it all. But especially, I think you saw some good play overall. Kamryn Shannon, obviously, leading us individually, finishing third on the individual leaderboard, a 148 for her, really good stuff as well. Saw great things from Lizzie Anderson, Danny Stowski, as well as Haley Crozier, really played some good. Taylor Musselman also at the number 5 spot. We saw some really good golf from this group. Grand Valley just had the better day, I think, on medal match day, and that's what it sounded like when we talked with the team before they came in here. But I think especially it's looking forward to the momentum that the program has moving forward. I think is really going to carry them into regionals, because, I mean, especially the men's, and you had the women's team winning last year. I mean, they're on the map, and they know they got a target on their back, and they're playing like it, and they are excelling to it. And I think that's a big thing and a big positive for them going into the postseason.
Yeah, that's huge, and especially using that momentum. I mean, it's going to be sick, because you're going to see some solid play from both of these teams, and the best part about it is they're pretty much right on top of each other, just off by, I think, a day or so. So the best part is not going to have a split coaching staff, maybe for a little bit, but everybody's going to be in one spot, which is going to be a very big positive, and one thing that we're looking forward to a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and we look forward to following along with golf. You can follow along FerrisStateBulldogs.com for more information on individual and team action. But
yes,
we will move into spring football, which had taken place, and I gotta say something, Joe. I gotta admit another thing. Number 2 here on the show.
What's that?
How can they play 60 minutes and end in a tie?
Yeah, I don't know.
They ended the same way they started.
That's kind of like how the Globetrotters play, and then they always win by like 2.
Yeah, it's like, what in the world? Why do you play 60 minutes and end the same way you started? But no, it was great. I mean, it was an action-packed spring game, and it was really fun to watch. It ends in, I believe it was a 47-all deadlock, as it was written online. I think we saw some really cool things. I mean, how about Mitch Middleton, 53-yarder to win it? I mean, absolute bomb of a kick to get us to that tie. But I think we saw some really fun plays, and obviously in the unique format where you get points for first downs, you get points for interceptions, turnovers, and you saw a lot of plays. And I mean, especially when we talked with Victor Nelson last week, you can find that in the week, or the feed below from last week. I mean, it's an opportunity for the young guys to show what they're really about. And I think you saw a lot of those young players getting a lot of quality minutes and really making a lot of those minutes.
Yeah, I mean, red team came back after a 19-point deficit in the second half, which is pretty big time. But I think the best part about this is you get a good glimpse of what you can expect for this upcoming season. Football season in Big Rapids is arguably the best time. There's so many people who go out to the tailgates. It's always a blast to go see it. And especially for Top Taggart Field, to get people back in there and get a good taste of football again, I think it just gets people that much more ready for a season that has a lot of expectations for this upcoming year, both GLIAC-wise and postseason, and especially to see them play that well already. I'm very much looking forward to how this team is going to play with the schedule that we have coming up.
Yeah, Pitt State, week 0 to start it off in Kansas. It's going to be fun, and we can't wait to follow this team going into the fall as well. Moving over to track and field, the Owens Classic at Old Allendale. I think it was a really good meet. I think especially when you look at the results, you looked at where we've been at this year, there has been 15 mile per hour of wind everywhere we've went, and that has been a little bit of a problem. Time-wise, marks-wise. But I think the biggest thing, the consistency from everybody across the board has been great. Nobody has folded in the conditions. They've still competed to the best, and you've seen a lot of times, even though they're not far off their personal best, and we're running into these insane wind conditions. And I think that just shows that it is due for a breakout. It's going to start here on this weekend. We're actually racing on Thursday, so it already happened. But next week, GLIAC's extra weekend this week. It's going to be fun. Under the lights, under all of the pressure, it's going to be so fun, and we look forward to the meet. And then the pressure begins next week. Good kind of pressure, though. We're creating some eustress. We're not creating some distress here, Joe. We're going to have a good time, and we're going to compete, and we're going to put ourselves on the map.
That's the attitude that we like to see.
Come on.
Brandon, keep that up. Run fast, start fast, finish fast, do everything you need fast.
Yeah, that's coaching. You might want to trademark that. That's coaching material right there. But
I try my best.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We look forward to it, and we look forward to getting all the results for you next week here on the show as well. GLIAC's coming in hot here as we continue on with the show. We'll move over to softball here. We'll finish out with tennis as well. But softball played in 2 really highly contested matchups, split against Parkside 5-0 and then a 6-8 loss. And then on Sunday against who was the number 2 team at the time in Purdue Northwest, beat them 1-0 on senior day. Aaron Gallagher throws a complete game shutout in dominant fashion. And Alexis Kozlowski has continued to mash the softball. RBI double to win it. And then the Pride beat us 2-1 in the nightcap. But we are showing that we can compete with these teams. We're winning game 1, which is great. And I think it's just really keeping that going into all 12 innings, I think is really the biggest thing, or 14 innings, I think is really just the thing that we need looking into a lot of the postseason, because we're getting the job done in game 1, which is great, but now just got to keep that moving forward into the next games, because this team has shown that they are talented, they have worked, and they have the pitching depth as well as being able to have the bats show up when they're needed to, not consistently, but when they need to, which is just as important. And that's something that postseason-wise can bring them a lot of success.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're known to get hot. There's been times, especially like 5 or 6 series ago, where I'm trying to do quick maths in my head, but between the second game Wisconsin-Parkside and the first game at Davenport, they scored 37 runs. If I'm, hopefully my math is correct. I don't know. 34.
We're not math majors, guys.
36. Sorry. 36 runs.
There it is.
That's where it's at. 36 runs in 4 games, which is pretty darn solid. So this team can really step it up. And especially last series against Wisconsin-Parkside, they put up 11 runs in 2 games. So not too shabby, especially with Wayne State coming up at the end of this week. I think you're still going to see some solid play to be had. And I mean, right before GLIACs, no better time to get the bats hot, as well as just continue to play well defensively. I mean, you're going to be a hot start. And especially whoever is going to be the one that gets the first draw against us, I fear for him, because I think we're going to be coming in rolling.
I think we are for sure. Finishing out with tennis, GLIAC champs. The men's got it done.
Dogs.
How about that? Women's also 7-0 sweep. They're in the number 2 seed in the GLIAC, and we can't wait to see.
Number 1?
Not us, and we don't care because we'll be number 1 after this week.
I was just more saying for the viewers. But
well, it doesn't matter, does it?
Okay. We'll rock with it.
That's the mentality that we're taking here.
We'll rock with it.
We're taking it. But no, it's great to watch this team, especially. I mean, Coach Doran's done a great job with this group. Number 1 and number 2 seeds. I mean, that's what you're asking for. And especially for the women's team. I mean, the men's team, we talked to Alessandro. We heard from him. I mean, the women's team, everything that they've battled through has been so impressive. The men's side, too, as well, battling through injuries. The women's side gets just as much credit because they really bounced back in a huge way. And this is a really big win for them getting the number 2 seed.
Yeah, that is huge. Wayne State is number 1 for those of you who are wondering, as well as myself.
Who cares?
Yeah, well, who does care? But I was just more saying to set the land out a little bit for you. But we're definitely looking forward to it. Going to be big time, especially with GLIACs. Both of them are going to be in the same spot on the same day, which is also very cool.
Very cool.
And I mean, the men's team coming into this with what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 game win streak, or 10 match win streak, whatever you want to call it. That's pretty dominant. And to only lose the most is, I think, 3 sets to Wayne State 2 weeks ago. I mean, what's better than that?
I don't know.
Almost nothing.
I don't know if there's anything.
You
better
still
than
pull
that.
out the W in the end.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. These teams are taking care of business. Look forward to seeing them in action in the postseason. All the hard work on the line. chips, rings,
Women's
championship
also
trophies.
8-1 in the last 9. So
Exactly. I mean, it's there. I mean, the momentum is just at an all-time high. 10 out of 10.
we've been rolling, dude.
Fantastic. So it's going to be great. You can follow along with all the teams and postseason festivities. Ferris State Bulldog.
Yeah, do that.
.com.
Do that.
So, anyway, speaking of golf, going all the way back to the beginning, full circle, we have our interview now for you. Kamryn Shannon, Zach Koerner stopping by. So we should get them to the interview, Joe.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now joining us here in the interview room, we got Zach Koerner, Kamryn Shannon of the Ferris State Golf Squads. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming in and just getting time out of your busy schedules. Talk to us about, this later part of the season. GLIAC champs for you, Zach, and especially with regionals coming up for you, Cam. Talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was good to get a GLIAC championship for sure. We've came up short the last couple of years, and it's been some quiet van rides home, but it was really good to get one done, especially against Grand Valley, so it's fun.
And we were defending champs going into it, so we kind of had a little extra weight on our backs, and we went into it with 4 underclassmen and only 1 upperclassman. So not winning it this year kind of motivates us even more for next season.
Yeah, and obviously you guys are going into the postseason, so obviously a lot more at stake. Just talk about especially the preparation you guys have made this week on the range as far as the putting greens and what you guys are really working on just to be able to be at your best going into the postseason.
Yeah, no, we have a pretty big gap between, at least for the men's team, we have a pretty big gap between GLIACs and regionals. So it's been nice to get a little time off the road and just being able to work on some stuff in your game and just taking the time we have and trying to get better so we can be our best come regionals.
On the women's side, we saw a lot of strokes were gained with putting, so that's one of our biggest things to work on right now. And it will get us ready for regionals.
Yeah, short game. So important in the game, man.
Yeah, putt for dough, as they say. And especially, because the big thing with Michigan, like golf, it's not easy to get rounds in, and especially for, you have the Jenk Center, which is great for the simulators and stuff, but how do you kind of have that quick turnaround from going from sims and indoors to trying to get as many rounds as possible outdoors? Like, how do you kind of balance that and schedule that out?
Yeah, I mean, it can be tough. I know some of the guys, I've been fortunate enough to have family in some warmer states, so I go there on every break I get, which helps a lot to stay fresh. But yeah, just working at the facility and trying to do all you can. But I mean, it's sometimes you don't know what you're going to have in the first tournament, which can be rough. But we've been fortunate enough to go on some pretty cool trips. We had a spring qualifying trip in Kentucky about a month before our first tournament, so that definitely helped us get ready. And then we played about 4 or 5 rounds before our first tournament in Florida, which was really nice, which helped a lot. So.
Yeah, just preparing by getting out there whenever there's no snow on the ground.
Facts.
Really helps.
Yeah, we did have a pretty good February too. So we were able to practice the whole week before spring break, which was huge. So we didn't really feel too rusty in the first tournament. So that was nice.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with all the different formats you guys play. Obviously, different tournaments cause different formats. What's your guys' favorite format to play? Like match play, stroke play, team? What's the biggest, if we were playing this type of format, it's like, yeah, I'm geared up. We're ready to go.
I think for the men's side, we love medal match play. It's just kind of like head to head. And I feel like the team that's the closest and just works the hardest together comes out on top most of the time. It's just really fun going head to head. You don't really get to do that.
Yeah.
And like the lead changes and it's just fun to have that kind of it's just a different atmosphere. It's super fun.
Yeah, for sure. Cam, yours?
I love medal match play personally, but going into conferences, we had a few girls that have never gotten that experience before. So they kind of went into it very nervous, not knowing exactly what it was like out there. But
Sure.
I love it just being extra aggressive almost in those situations because I want to try and get as many strokes for a lead right off the start.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and especially with the big time matches coming up, I've always wondered for like getting ready and stuff, are you guys more of a kind of take the sights and sounds, everybody getting ready? Or are you more getting locked in with some music? Like, what is it kind of like those pre-match routines that get you going?
Yeah, I used to listen to a lot of music before I would warm up, and I was just playing really bad. I don't know, I kind of have some superstitions, so I was playing really bad in the beginning of the season, and I was like, all right, I'll just try no music, and I started to play better. So I don't listen to music anymore. But I mean, just warming up before rounds, just pretty much getting loose and just getting the green speed down. A lot of people, like, I try not to care how good or bad I hit it on the range before, because it's just like, my thought is I'm just getting loose. Like,
yeah, just going through the motions.
Exactly. I mean, sometimes if you have a really good range session, you just use it as momentum. But if you have a really bad one, you don't want to let it get to your head, because then you're just struggling out there the whole day. You kind of you never know what you're going to do. It's golf. It's crazy. So
yeah, don't want to like carry over at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm a chatty person, so I'm a no music kind of person. I'll be out there warming up, talking to my friends from the other teams. Some people don't like it, but that's just how I am. Like, I'm the kind of person I want to have the friendships out on the course to feel comfortable and have fun. So if somebody has AirPods in and I'm trying to have a conversation with them, it kind of makes me mad. So I don't want to do the same to them, because it just kind of throws me off.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned it, Zach. Superstitions in golf, I feel like, are completely just underestimated when it comes to obviously the tempo you swing, your routine, every shot. When it comes to like structure of your warm up, is there certain things you like to do first, or as far as like I need to do putting first, then chips, then range, or vice versa, or any order?
Yeah, so a lot of my teammates putt first, and at some tournaments there's only one range spot. So it's 5 guys warm up on one spot, and it just takes forever. So like my freshman year, I just started hitting on the range first. But no, I don't really have my superstition like warming up is I hit 8-iron, and like I only hit 8-irons and 5-irons. Well, I hit wedges obviously to warm up. Like I hit my 58, then I hit an 8-iron, then I hit a 5-iron. But like I never touch a 9-iron, or like I don't know. I've kind of always done it. Some players do it differently. Like they'll change on the day, but I just hit an 8-iron and then 5-iron. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, Kim, how about you?
I would say yes for me, because if we show up with less than an hour to warm up, I'm automatically mad, because I want that full hour. I have to mark my golf balls. I like to talk to my family before. And then like he said, we all have to share a range spot. And some of us go faster than others.
Sure.
None of us girls like to go putt first. So we're all just standing there waiting to hit balls, so that slows it down also. So I like to do range, then putt, and then try and get some up and downs before I go out on the course.
Okay, yeah, nice, right on.
Yeah, and you mentioned marking your ball. That's one thing that I just started doing, just to make. I mean, I don't need to, since I go through like 20 around. But is there like special markings that you guys put on yours? Because I know some people like to have it kind of more personalized and stuff.
Oh,
yeah, I do. So my high school golf coach, he actually passed away like 2 years ago. So I just put his initials on my ball.
Oh, wow.
And it's just like, if I'm even having like a bad day on the course or something, I just look down at it and just feel like thankful that I'm able to be out there. So that's
awesome.
kind of what I do. So
that's really cool.
It says CM on it, like for Coach Morgan. And everybody's like, what's CM? I'm just like, it's my high school golf coach. And, but yeah, I like, it's cool. It's something cool to have for sure. So
Yeah, well, I actually lose most of my Sharpies, so you never know what color I'm going to come out with. But I try to do the lines on my ball the same, and then I always put a little heart on my ball, just because nobody else has hearts on their golf balls out on the course.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll go with probably a fan question that's out there. Favorite course that you've ever played, or one that you dream that you want to play in the future?
Well, obviously Augusta National. That would be a cool one. But I've played Oakmont in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
They host a lot of U.S. Opens out there.
Yeah.
So that's probably like the coolest course I've played. But my favorite is probably the Kingsley Club. It's up near Traverse City. It's a super exclusive course. And it's just like the round that I played out there with some of my roommates was just like, the weather was perfect. There wasn't a cloud. We didn't see anybody out there the whole day. So it was like one of the best rounds of golf, like favorite rounds of golf I've ever had.
Okay, that's really cool.
This winter break, I got to go down to the Bears Club. I was injured, so I only got to hit a few shots out there, but that's a very hard course to get onto. So that was the coolest experience. But my
Tiger's a member there, right?
Not at that one.
The Medalist. Okay.
The Medalist, yeah.
Bears Club is Jack Nicklaus course. So like
gotcha.
JT, Rory, He's out there. Shane Lowry was playing on the hole behind me.
Oh, dang.
But my favorite course would be any of them down at Pinehurst. I got to play high school nationals down there, so I've played like 5 courses.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool. I remember playing number 2 on when you had WGT on your phone app. You used to play it. I used to love playing number 2 all the time.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my extent of golf and at the elite level. Yeah, it's on my phone because I'm bad.
Key is mine. But I mean, is there a club that you're kind of swinging sweet right now that's like the best in your bag right now?
It's pretty week to week, honestly. It's the frustrating part. I mean, last week I was hitting my driver really well and I was not hitting my irons well. And yesterday I figured out my irons and I was hitting on the driving range this morning and I couldn't hit a driver straight. But that's just kind of how it goes, you know. But I would say mostly it would be my irons are my strongest part of my game. Clubs I usually hit the best consistently.
Okay.
So.
My favorite would be my woods and driver just because I'm a longer hitter for girls. So I like to take advantage off the tee and try to have some shorter yardages in.
Yes, play aggressively. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. But especially in the game of golf, everybody loves to aspire to be good at it. And of course, a shank can contribute to a massive meltdown on the course. When you hit a bad shot, what's the mentality that you guys go through on how to bounce back, going to that next shot and that next hole, especially when you're in postseason tournament where it's all on the line?
Yeah, I mean, when I find myself like getting frustrated about a bad shot, especially in like team golf, I just kind of remember like I'm trying to like I can't waste shots getting frustrated for my teammates. Like every shot matters. So I mean, if I'm going to be the 4th score that counts and I grind out a 74 instead of a 75, that could be the difference of making nationals or winning the tournament, right? So just kind of playing out there for my teammates. So that's what keeps me kind of not from getting angry on the course.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I hate to admit it, but shanks have happened quite often this spring for me. We had a team event down in Kentucky for a Findlay tournament, and we actually have to play with our teammates in this event. And my best friend and I, she hit a shank, almost hit me. I got up, hit the same exact shank. And it was just a pattern throughout the day. If one of us hit a shank, the other did. I think I had like 6 that tournament, but I still was shooting some good scores. So like for me, I like to think of those bad shots as improvements for the next day. They're just kind of shots that really shouldn't be happening out there. So like if I shot like a 78, I can be like, well, I had 3 shanks. So there's 3 easy strokes that I can probably get back tomorrow.
Okay, right on.
Absolutely. Well, we both appreciate you guys for coming on and taking time out of the busy schedules, especially with some big time stuff coming up for both of you. But last question, we ask everybody on the show, what's been your favorite thing about being a Ferris State Bulldog?
I would say probably the friends I've made here. I've made some good friends, so that's been nice. And yeah, that's probably the friends for sure. So
I was going to say the friendships also.
Yeah, for sure. It's a special team you guys have. It's certainly hearing the culture about it. But Zach, Cam, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck in the upcoming golf postseason here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Big thanks to Kamryn and Zach for joining us on the show. Rapid fire, Ferris State Sports Slate before you go. Thursday is the Grand Valley State Extra Weekend Meet, moved up for weather, so you can look online for that, as well as softball at Wayne State, 3:30 and 5:30 on Friday, the 26th.
Saturday, women's tennis and men's tennis at the GLIAC tournament, 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. start, respectively, for both of those. Softball also at Saginaw Valley State, 12 and 2:30, first pitch.
Absolutely. Women's tennis, men's tennis to round it out, 10 a.m. for the women's, and men's at 3 o'clock there for Midland for the GLIAC tournament finale if they make it to Sunday, which we expect them to do so.
For sure. That's it. Have a good day.
All right.
Take care, everybody.